right, we've got another user story. As a development manager, I want to view a summary of donation activity for the past week. So there is a much better way to do this, which is with reports. You might want to utilize something like the donor gift summary object in a report. If there is something that doesn't exist in that object, you could potentially use roll-up summaries or declarative lookup roll-up summaries, things like this. But for the purpose of this course, in order to learn certain elements and resources in the flows, we're going to achieve this with the flow. And if you were to use a report, you would schedule this to run every week with conditions and whatnot to come in a shape of an email. We're going to send an email in a flow as well. So the email is going to contain some information. This information is here. So we're going to send this email every Monday at 8 a.m. before the day starts. And that email should have the following information. That's for paid gift transactions in the last week, the amount of funds raised, that's the total amount of each gift transactions, and then the number of these gift transactions, the average, and then the major gift donation information, that's the donor name, the email, and the amount. Before we do that, before we go ahead and build, I already created a new role called Development Manager. I know like this could be different from one org to another. You might have a development manager for a segment of donors. So you have different development managers. You might have just like one development manager for our fundraising team altogether. It depends on, like, it might be different. It might be a role, it might be a user field, it might be a contact field. For this demo, I created a role, and that role is development manager, and I assigned this role to one user. That's my user. Okay, now let's go ahead and create that flow. So we want to send this every Monday at 8 a.m. So this is going to be a scheduled triggered flow. Starting from scratch, scheduled triggered flow. We would like this to go out every Monday at 8 a.m. and I'd like this to run on a weekly basis. We don't need to specify an object now. We're just gonna run this only once. We'll grab, like, if we were to run this for every record, it's gonna send one email per record. We don't want it to send one email per record. We want to send only one email that has all the information. So we're not going to specify an object. We'll just start building right away. Okay, what information do we need? We need all the gifts that happened in the last week. So first, I'm gonna use a get element to get gift transactions, and that's gift transaction. We need to grab all the gift transactions that are paid and that happened in the last week. So in the last week there is a range. So the upper hand is less than today. So the completion date is less than flow, the global variable flow, and then current date. So we're looking at every gift transaction in paid status that happened before today, and then it needs to be set like within the last week, which is greater than 7 days ago. So I'd like to create a formula to construct the date of 7 days ago, and then I will add a condition here to be more than that date. So let's create a new resource here. We'll create a formula, and that formula should be the date of 7 days ago. So this is a date formula, let's say 1 week ago, and that should return a date, and I will use the function today and then -7. So this is going to return 7 days ago, the date of 7 days ago. We're done with this, and now we need the transaction date or the completion date to be greater than or equal 1 week ago. So we've got the range here. We're using the transaction date twice because we've got a range. Within the last week, any gift transaction that is in paid status. I'd like to grab all of them, not just one. And the fields that we need to collect are, we need the donor, and I need the current amount, not the original amount. The reason is that if there was a refund or a partial refund to a gift transaction, then that amount is deducted from the original amount, and then the up-to-date amount is the one that is in the current amount field. So I've got two fields: original amount field, refunded amount field. There's actually three fields: original amount, refunded amount, and then current amount. Down here we have original amount, refunded amount, and then where's current amount? Current amount. Okay, so we need current amount, we need donor ID. I don't know if we need any other information. Let's just keep them like this for now. Okay, moving forward. Now, the information we need, now that we have these gift transaction records, we need three pieces of information. We need the major gift information as well, but let's just forget this for a second. We need the total amount of these gift transactions that we just got, and the number, and then the average. Let's start with the total amount. And there is like a beautiful new element called transform, which there wasn't an older way to do this, but the transform is a nice way to do these things. And let's just forget its name, the name of the element, for a second. What we're going to do here, and I'm just not going to label it just yet. We have source data and we have target data. So what we are trying to do, I know we have two sets of data now. The first one is with gift transactions. So this is our source of data. We're gonna add the gift transactions here. This is our data source. And what we are trying to achieve is the total amounts, which is a currency. So the target data is a currency, and that's it. So like I have not like made any manipulation of the data yet. We're just saying that's the source data. This is where it's coming from, and then the result of the aggregate, we're gonna set up the aggregate now, should be into this currency field. Now you notice it doesn't have any name because we didn't add a label here. I have a way of naming things, but for the transform, like everything starts with a verb like get or create. For the transform though, I think I'm going to go with the name of the actual output, not with the verb. Something like what we're trying to get from this is the total gift amount. Now when I click outside, you notice now it is named total gift amount, and then total gift amount. So the output from this transform is going to be called total gift amount into this currency field or variable. Now what we're going to do is we can click this dot here or socket here. And what this is, we can then like map them together. I'm gonna just go outside for a second. When we do that, I cannot delete this. Looks like I can't. Maybe I can. I'm not sure. Okay. So we already linked these two together. With this link, you see the collection. Remember, I am not like mapping the current amount to this currency. I'm saying from that collection, the output from that collection is gonna go into this currency field. And then if I click this aggregate, which opened automatically a minute ago, then it's gonna tell me like what type of aggregate. So what we're doing here, when we click the collection and then we click a currency field like this, it automatically knows that we are performing an aggregate. If I click this, then it's gonna tell me like what type of aggregate are we doing. If I select count, it will just count the number of records. If I select sum, it's gonna ask me which field are we actually aggregating, which is almost identical to a roll-up summary field. So we are aggregating the current amount. Notice just one nice thing here about this part here, the source data. You notice only 3 fields are showing up from the gift transactions. These are the ones that we added here down in the get element. These are the ones that we are retrieving. If we set this to be all fields instead, then that's going to be a big a big list of fields. So we got a collection. From that collection, we performed an aggregate of the current amount, and then the output, we put it into this total gift amount, which is the output of the transform element. Now the name is transform because it performs different types of data manipulation. That's why just like it, in the icon itself, you have some source dots or sockets, and then that's the target data. So it's just like an icon for what's happening inside the transform element. We're gonna repeat this for the count, and I'm gonna name this number of gifts. Now it's called number of gifts, and then I'm gonna change this aggregate from sum to count. Awesome. Now that we have the total amount and we've got the number of gifts, we can do the average. And the average, to create the average, it's just a formula. So we're gonna create a formula, and that's currency, and then average. That's a currency data type, and that's the total over number. That's how to do the number of gifts. So that's just the average. Okay, we've got the first three, the total, the number, and the average. Now we need to get the major gift information. To get the major gift information, this get element here returned all records that are paid in the last week. Notice here we can sort these. So let's actually sort them in a descending manner on the current amount field, sort by the current amount field, so that this doesn't just return it. I think it's sorted by default by the created date, and I don't want it to be sorted like this. I would rather to have it sorted by the current amount, so that the first record in this collection is the one with the highest donation amount. Now there is no out of the box way to grab just one particular record from a collection of records. That's why we have to perform a loop. So this is not exactly a loop to it's just a workaround. It's not like the typical use of a loop, but it's a workaround to just extract this first record in that collection. So we're gonna loop through this collection, loop gift transactions, and we need to grab the first gift transaction and store it somewhere. So I'm gonna need a variable, a container for that gift transaction record. So I'm gonna create a new variable, record variable, and I'll name this major gift. This is a record of object type gift transaction, and at this point it is empty, like that record variable is empty. And once we start looping through this, then I know that the first element, the first iteration, the first record in that collection is the major gift. So I want to assign that major gift to that record variable that we just created. So I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to click outside to select the entire record. And I need it to pick up all the values from the current iteration, current record from this iteration. I'm clicking the current item from loop, and then I'm clicking outside to pick up all the values from inside this record and put all of these into this record variable instead. Now, what's going to happen next is this: the loop starts. That's the first iteration. We assign that record into this major gift, and then on the second iteration, we want it to stop. We don't want it to assign something again, because we already got what we need from the loop, and we would like to break out of that loop. So how does the loop know that we need to break? So we need to tell it to actually break. So I'm going to add a decision element here to check if this record variable that we created a minute ago already got a value in it. If it got a value in it, it means that we already got what we need, then we can break. So let's say, did we already collected a major gift? Did we already collect that major gift? Yes. And no. How do we know that we already collected that? If that record, I'll click outside, is null, false, meaning there is a value in it, then we already collected that. So if we have already collected it, we need to break out. I can't break out because that's the end element here. Let's just cut this into here for a second. So if we haven't already, so this is the first iteration. Let's start again from the first iteration. On the first iteration, we go down to the decision element. It checks if there is already a value in the record variable for the major gift. It doesn't find any, so it's gonna go down the no path. It assigns that current record, which is the major gift, into the record variable major gift. And then it goes to the second iteration. It checks that record variable major gift. It finds that it does have a value, so it goes to yes. And then it will just keep repeating this for the remainder of the loop. Would like it to break. So if I click on this and I click connect to element, I'd like it to actually go here, but because it's the end element, I can't. So I'm just gonna add the send email. Eventually we need to send email. Let's add send email here. Send email. I'll populate it later. For now, let's go ahead and connect this element to this send email. So we're breaking out of this right now. So it's the first iteration, assigns that major gift, and then on the second iteration, it notices that we already assigned the major gift. Let's break out of this loop and go to the send element. Yeah. Okay. From this major gift record, we have the donor field, and the donor field has the name and the email of that person. And for the amount, we got we got it on the gift transaction record itself. Let's now go ahead and start populating this send email. For the body, we would like this to be a text template. We're going to create a new resource and then select text template underscore body. And here we need 3 pieces of information, or like a bunch of pieces of information, sorry. We have the total donation amount. We also need the number of donations. We need average gift size, major gift donor name, major gift. Let's do this. Donor name, donor email, donation amount. Okay, total donation amount is the total donation amount. Number of donations is number of gifts. I don't like that. I don't like to use like a donation somewhere and then in some other place I use the word gift. But I just keep forgetting how I named it before. If I was live, I would go back and actually rename these things to have the same keyword. Average gift size is the average, and then the donor name is the one from that major gift record. So that's the donor, and then first name plus. Oh, I actually think we didn't need to add the plus. Major donor last name. Remember that a donor could be a person account and could be a business account. So if you want to replace this with an if statement to check if it's a business account, then grab the account name instead of first name and last name. So feel free to do that. And then the email is donor first. You need to access the donor and then email. And then the donation amount is here, amount, the current amount. Of course, you can make further modifications to this email, like, hi, this is like the summary of the last week, things like that. Let's just like continue with this. So that's the body. Now the recipient is the development manager. So I need the development manager email. And you don't want to hard code anything at all, like not the email, not the record ID, nothing. So we need to query the development manager. The reason we wouldn't put the email like email here hard coded like this is that like if you like that user gets deactivated and you create a new user with the role development manager, you will have to come back and edit the flow. But if you actually query the person with the development manager role, then if that user is deactivated and a new development manager joins the team, then the flow continues to work just fine without breaking. Let's see how we can grab that development manager. Remember, the development manager is a role that we created. A user is so a role is an object and a user is a different object. So we need first to grab the role, and then from the role we need to grab the user. When you go ahead and create a new user and you select a role, let's actually not here, mimic that behavior for a second. If we were to create a new user and we select a role, when you do that, even though it says development manager, as a matter of fact, this is an ID, similar to how you populate the account on an opportunity. You see the name of the record, but it is actually an ID. So we need, this role is its own object, and one of those records in that object is the development manager and has an ID. Let's go back to the flow. Now let's grab the role first. So we're gonna perform a get role, and it's called the user role. And let's grab a role where the name, I'm gonna use developer name. Remember, we would always want to use developer name, not label, in case users change the label. And I will go ahead and just grab it from here, because I don't like typing down things, because it means there is a chance of error. So I'm just gonna copy this from here and I'll paste it here. So grab this role, and all I need is the ID of that role. Now I want to grab a user, get development manager. Let's add the word user here as well. So that's a user object, user, where the role, user role ID equals the role from get role and then role ID. We need the first record only. We know that we only have one development manager. If you have more than one, then we might have some consideration there. And then here, the email that we're sending this to should be the one from get development manager and then email. Would like this to be rich? Yes. Would like this to be weekly summary, and we need this to work as well. Okay, we've got, I think, everything up and ready here. We got all the information that we need. We added them to a text template. We're sending that to the development manager. Let's save this and summary email. Let's debug this. To force it to run, I'll run it in rollback mode first to see if we get any errors or problems. We have an error there. It says here 0 recipients. So the email is attempting to send something, but then it says 0 recipients. When it says 0 recipients, it means there is no email. So here it says when the email address is null, meaning, you see, like, now we're gonna track it back. This email failed because there is no email. Why is there is no email? Because the email value came from get development manager user email. So that get element returned nothing. Why did it not return nothing? You notice here our when we broke out of this, we went right away to the send email, so it has skipped these two. So we need to change this connector to get role here. So after we have the major gift, then we need to go ahead through get role. Let's save this. Get role first, get the user, and then send the email, not send the email without getting these two. Let's debug again. Rollback mode. Okay, it has completed successfully. Let's read the logs to make sure that we actually got an email. The user email is my correct email, so it looks like it's working fine. And then let's look at the text template, the content. It's shown here in plain text, but we can just read it to see if we've got information here. We have 4, 5, 10. That's the total donation amount. The number of donations is 13. Looks like I had the number as a currency field. That's why we see this $sign. It should have been just a number data type, not a currency. Let's edit this. Let's go here, and then let's change this from currency to, let's delete it. Let's change this to number instead. Read this and this, and then that's account. Now looks better. Okay, we need to validate that these numbers are correct. Let's go to the gift transactions object, and let's clear this filter. And I want the completion date, transaction completion date, to be less than today. So let's copy this, paste it here. So the 9 less than today. Does that work? Did I get that wrong? Less than 24. Okay, and then this is only 2. Okay, that's the acknowledgement date. I need the transaction completion date to be less than 124. Let me copy this. That sounds about right. So that's less than today. We need, so I'm just like doing what the flow is supposed to be doing to make sure that it is giving me accurate data. So this is greater than or equal 1 week ago, which is 25th August 25. Let's add another condition, which is status equals paid. All right, we have 13 records. If we were to debug again just to see that number in rollback mode, and let's see, we actually, where's the transfer? This is the total gift. Oh, it's nice. Like look what that looks like. So we've got like the amount here, and then the number here is 13. The total is 4, 5, 10. I don't know if you can do that. No, I'm not even going to attempt that. And then we've got the average information. Okay, so since it's 13 and we've already seen 13 here, so this number is accurate. The last thing we need to test is the email. Let's debug now without rollback mode to see what the email looks like. We should expect an email here. That is the weekly summary. We got it. We got this. We got this. We got this. And then we have the donor name, Sarah Nash, with the donation amount of 600. That's the major gift. Let's confirm that this is the major gift. So there is 600, a bunch from Sarah, because all of them meet the conditions. I just picked up the first one. Then we may have some considerations around if there is more than one like this, then we could potentially report on all of them. This is all of these major gifts. If there is, if they have the same amount, then just report all of them in the email. This is everything for now.